All right, so I'm excited to have Stacey Clark with me to share her testimony after working with us. I'm very happy to be talking with you, Stacey. So welcome. So I look forward to hearing your story. So I recall when we first spoke about your previous role, you mentioned how you were, not valued for the contributions that you brought to the table. You're so talented. You have so many different skills. You were used everywhere. They put you on a bunch of different projects, and your projects were the shining star. But for whatever reason, the pay and the flexibility just wasn't there. And so, fast forward to today, and you have a role that you enjoy, you can work remote, you have the flexibility that you want, which is what you wanted before we actually first when we first spoke with each other. So in your own words, would love to learn a little bit more about your story. So tell us a little bit about your journey. What was your situation before we started working together?
Yeah, I became a utility player
Mm,
for the company that I was previously working for. And while that seems all great, it just wasn't rewarded. And ultimately, what happens when you become such a dispersed utility player is the company and yourself then has a lack of clarity as to where you provide your most value. And so, and so I didn't know where I needed to focus. The company didn't know where I needed to focus. And so my future became unclear. They knew I was valuable, but because I was being valuable to so many different groups across the organization in the position that I was currently in gave them the most flexibility to use me wherever they wanted to.
mm,
And that meant that I should stay there. Well, I want growth. I want, upward mobility. And that just became more unclear with the company where I was. I didn't have very good work-life balance, as you had talked about. Uh, the type of company that it was, I had to work on site, given the products that they sold. And and so that just did not give me the type of work-life balance and even where I wanted to be to live, it just no longer aligned. Um, and so this move was a big deal for me, to do something that was finally for me.
yeah, no, awesome. I mean, that's the interesting thing too about being a utility player. It's both kind of a, gift and also, a challenge because yes, you can do a lot of different things and you can kind of plug and play you in a different lot of different places and do and excel very, very well, which you did. And you just excelled in a bunch of different places. But at the same time, it's almost as if though you're being, I hate to say it, but used, in a place where maybe you're not necessarily given the value that you're actually bringing to the table, right? So you could be used in a bunch of different places, but the value that on your end, it's not being, you're not able to recoup that or receive that for whatever reason. And so hopefully, something like this or a story like this can bring awareness to people who do have all of those gifts and even the leaders who manage those individuals to say, hey, look, these are utility players. These are probably your most valuable players on the team, right? Compensate them well, treat them well. And it's easier to retain them than to lose them. And so unfortunately, the company's losing such a bright star. So but I'm so
But
glad
also,
that you oh go ahead. Go ahead.
I think there's some main tenets in what a utility player brings to the table
Hmm.
that I think should be recognized, and that is clarity in where they provide value, and that just it was difficult at the company that I was at to make that clear.
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally. Well said. So I guess with that being said, what were some of the tangible results that you achieved after we started working with each other?
Yeah. Well, I want to start with the intangible results because it was the intangible results that really began to formulate and really come to fruition the tangible results that I ultimately
Mhm,
got. And so first again, in working with you and your team and your platform, I gained clarity.
mhm,
That for the most part was really what I needed. I understood what my main strengths were, as an employee, as a person, what my values were, And then also how my values and my strengths, how that would ground me in what types of companies and what types of cultures that I'm really looking for and and could be my best self at. And so those intangible things really help to really change the way that I looked at my job search,
Mhm.
uh, and was more targeted in my job search. Uh, and given that I was looking to prioritize work-life balance, I that was not a priority for me. Uh, it was, well, if I have to take a pay cut to get what I wanted out of my work-life balance, then I would do that, and I did not have to do that.
Yep.
And again, that was all because I was more targeted and more clear about what value I can bring to an organization. And I couldn't have done that without having that clarity. Um, also, a better work-life balance. I'm a fully remote employee now. Um, and they have locations. Well, one, they have locations everywhere in the US and Canada and probably in most other places, but I can work wherever there's a location. And in their main headquartered locations, um, I I have personal connection with. And so even if there was the chance where they would say, well, now you have to come and live in this state or in this state to comply, yeah, I could easily do that and be happy about doing so. Um, so those things, ultimately that I got gained out of my job search and out of my new role, it couldn't have happened without the clarity, around my values and my strengths in that process of yours. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing, I mean, that's amazing, Stacey. I mean, wow. And how long would you say that you probably did this? Was it in less than 3 months?
Yes. Yes. Yes, less than 3 months
Wow.
you. But before that, I probably had been I wouldn't say I was, focused on finding a new role, but I had been looking for about a year.
Probably
And,
wow.
um, and again, maybe I wasn't, applying, every day or every week,
Yeah.
but I was intentional, but it
Yeah.
did become more intentional and with clarity, which is again the most important thing for me was gaining clarity.
Yeah.
Uh, that really was the stride that really, you know, made the execution come up with more tangible things.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. Wow. So I mean, once you've got the proper strategy and you're a smart cookie. Obviously you're extremely gifted and talented. And I know obviously I mean, even seeing the roles that you've had in the past and kind of where you are even now, you're the type of person once you latch on to the right process, right? I mean, you come from that background and
Yeah.
you're like
Great
boom,
process.
boom, boom. Yeah, it's over. Yeah. And so, and you latched onto the right process and literally in less than 90 days, you work remote and kind of pretty much write your own schedule, which is a dream, right? For most
Yes.
professionals. And so, and you were able to do that. I mean, that is awesome. I mean, awesome. Congratulations. I mean, you did the work. So I mean, it's awesome that you had you went for it and did that. So with that being said, I mean, what advice would you give someone who considers working with us if they're kind of on the fence and they're wondering, I don't know, I'm not sure. I mean, what advice would you give them?
Yeah. So in change management, we talk about the dissatisfaction, um, the uh, the vision and the clarity of the first step has to exceed the resistance to change, right?
Mm,
And so, change is hard. Resistance is hard because when you're comfortable, even if you're comfortable with the dysfunction, it, it makes the resistance
right.
great, right? And so you have to obviously, if they're finally coming to you, the level of dissatisfaction is there, right? So by the time that I had made that step to formalize getting a career coach and moving forward with some formal steps, the dissatisfaction was there.
Yeah.
Okay. What your program brings is the process helps you gain a vision
Mm,
and the process gives you clear first steps in next actions. And all that's left is execution.
Love it.
And so really think about, that creating that vision for yourself and and moving forward on the next actions that you provide for us within the platform and just execute. And and that clarity and those finally those intangible and tangible results will come. Um,
Yeah.
it's execution after that.
Yeah, I love it. I love the example, the change management and the
It's
PM. I love it.
huge.
Yeah. And that's what it is, right? At the end of the day, then you have it's about the execution.
Yeah.
And I think when I may have reached out to you a long time ago, and I think I reached out to you. I think there was a post or something we both liked. And then I think it was months later until you came to me. And I remember that. And you were talking about kind of the dissatisfaction, it is almost seems like it has to get at that level at some point until someone is like, you know what? Had it. I've had it. I need help.
Yeah.
Let's move forward. And so happy that you took a chance on us and you have some wonderful results here and you're able to share this story with the world. So this is awesome. So Stacey, I'm just so thrilled and just honored that I get a chance to work with you. And I know I say this with most of our clients, but I mean, I get to pick and choose who I want to work with and I don't want to just work with anybody. So, I've just truly enjoyed working with you and you've just been, I mean, you literally are just an executor, which is amazing. And then here you are, less than 90 days, an amazing role. So it was just an honor and a pleasure to just work with you. So thank you so much for working with us.
Yeah, no, thank you, thank you, and yes, the pleasure is mine. The platform is great, from opening the first, few documents where it talks about, what the process is going to be, what we're going to go through, and what I'm going to see out of it.
Yeah.
It was just great. It was, yes, this is exactly how I should have been looking at this,
Yeah.
and so it was great.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Wow. Wonderful. So happy to work with you.
You, thank you. Yes.